let's talk a little bit more about navigating on the timeline. So here I've added a couple of clips. I'll add just even one more, dragging it onto the timeline and dragging my audio up. It can be down here on A3, but I prefer to have it up there. So one of the keyboard shortcuts I like a lot is the arrow key up or down is going to move you along to the beginning or end of your edit. So I'm going to use the arrow key. Notice right now where my scrubber is, and I'm use the arrow key up, and it dropped me to the beginning of my edit. Now I'm going to use the arrow key down, drops me to the end, arrow key down, drops me to the beginning, arrow key down, drops me to the end. So that can be like a really cool way to just kind of navigate quickly through your edits. And if you use the arrow keys left and right, that's simply going to just like be a slow scrubbing and going through. If you were scrubbing and you were trying to make a decision about where you wanted something to end, but you didn't want to make the edit, you could hit M, and that creates a little marker here. I put a little marker, you can see right there. So again, that's with M. It's going to be wherever I have my scrubber. Now, what if I wanted to cut my clip in half? Maybe take a section. Maybe I want to do an edit where it shows this clip, and then I have this flash and it shows this clip or this clip, and then it goes back to this clip. So in other words, I want to take a section of this and insert it into here. Now we've already talked about how you can trim the heads and tails, and that's non-destructive, simply dragging. If you wanted to simply cut, you're going to go over to the tools here, and you're going to take the razor tool and make your selection. You can see how it kind of has that line following it. So I could cut this clip is now in half, or if I wanted to cut out a section, so I'm going to move down the timeline. I made it right where my scrubber was. And as soon as you're done, go back to your regular editing tool, the selection tool. If not, you're going to end up making lots of cuts by accident. And so now I have this section here, and actually I guess I'll make a section, I'll make a cut over in this one. I'll go back to my selection tool, and this time I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to bring this selection and I'm going to put it inside here. So this is just as an example. It might just be that there's a moment of something that you want to cut out, you want to remove it, or it could be that you want to cut it out and insert it into another clip. And here's a shortcut. So let's say I want to get rid of that space that's created here now. So what do I have? I'm showing this clip, and then it flashes. Oh, I did not take a good section. That's very dark. Oh, let me find like a brighter spot here. Something a little bit on the brighter side to insert. Okay, I'm going to insert a section of this. I'll do it again. I'll take my razor, and I'm just going to make like a small section, switch back to my regular tool, copy this, or yeah, I'll copy this. I can do Control-C, go back, I'll get rid of this one, just hit select it and hit delete. And I want to, if I'm going to paste it in, I want to make sure my scrubber is right where I want it to be, because that's where it'll paste, and then paste it in. And now I want to close up this gap, so I could just simply take this and close it like that. Another shortcut is you can right click on a gap and choose Ripple Delete, and that's going to close it up for you. I'll do it right over here as well so you can see. So now I get this effect of, do it right on this one as well. So I'm looking at this clip, and then it flashes to this clip, then it goes back, then it flashes to that, so on and so forth. So incidentally, I could keep dragging my clips out. So I've already used this clip, but I can keep adding instances of it onto the timeline. I can chop them all up in different ways. This one could be trimmed and trimmed down like this, but then I could have another version of it where I just cut it up. So every time you bring it out onto the timeline, even though it's the same clip, you can edit it in a different way. And then the last thing is I wanted to point out, when you create your video, so I'm going to go back to Save As, and so I'm saving it in my video art folder, and it's called, I'm going to change the name here, I'm going to call it Kira test 2. Okay, saved. Now I'm going to navigate back to that folder. And sorry, I have to find the folder. Navigate back to my folder here. A lot of folders. Wrong folder. And I wanted to point out that wherever you've saved your project here, Adobe makes an AutoSave folder. And you'll see it, it like keeps popping up. It is saving your project, and here is my Kira Test 2, my AutoSave. So if you're ever working on Premiere and your power goes out or whatever, you know, something happens, you walk away, I don't know, it crashes, and you think you've lost all your work, it's actually saving it every couple of minutes. So go find your AutoSave version, which again is going to be in a folder Adobe created for you, and that folder is going to be in the same spot as your project, and then you can open it up from there. And maybe you'll have lost a little bit, but it's not the same as having to start back from the beginning. Okay, so that's all I'm going to cover for this video. In the next one, I'm going to talk about adding some color onto your tracks.